Bearcats are 6-0 overall, 2-0 in the American. One of three unbeaten teams on the east side of the American Athletic Conference, the others being UCF and USF. Now you became the second team nationally to become bowl eligible with their win against Tulane. Alabama got their game finished a couple minutes before, but Cincinnati was number 2 to become bowl eligible. And we are joined by Coach Luke Fickell from Cincinnati a couple minutes early. We always appreciate that. Cincinnati, as we said, 6-0 overall, 2-0 in the American. The Bearcats faced Tulane last Saturday. Cincinnati won the game 37-21. Bearcats are idle this week, back in action October 20th at Temple. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call this week. If you take a minute to tie up the game against Tulane, please, maybe your plans for the open week as you get back for the second half of the season against Temple on the 20th.
Sure. Obviously, it was a hard-fought game. It was probably closer than what it looks, but nonetheless, it was back and forth. A lot of big plays, some turnovers, and things like that had some serious implications in the game. But all in all, I think defensively, our guys played really well up front. Held them to 280 or so yards with an offense. I think that's pretty dynamic in some ways. I know they run the ball a lot, but they threw it pretty well there in the first half against us with the other quarterback. But I think in the long run, we continued to do what it is we did and what we do, and ran the ball pretty well, mixed it up a little bit, and came away with a pretty solid victory there in the end. This week we go into a bye week, which is a unique time to have it in the middle of the season. It's probably, if you could pick it, you would say you'd love to have a bye week in the middle of the season as opposed to like week 2 or 3 or week 8. It happens to come at a time when, you're rolling and got a lot of momentum going. So sometimes you're like, hell, I wish we wouldn't interrupt this run and this momentum. But nonetheless, it's a good opportunity for not just the players to get a little bit of time mentally get away and physically get away a little bit on the next weekend, but as well as for the coaches too. So we'll use it in the best way. We'll continue to prepare, but also have a chance to do some recruiting and get our guys a little opportunity to clear their minds there for this stretch run.
Take questions for Coach Luke Fickell, please. Star 1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. The operator will introduce you. Again, star 1 for questions, please. Coach, I'll throw the first one out while we see if any others chime in. With the bye week now, does the approach to your team change now with the start you've had? Now that can you put more tangibly your goals into the season in terms of maybe championship aspirations and maybe the slot for your bowl game and whatnot? Now that you've had the success you had and you have some time maybe to assess what you have down the stretch.
That's kind of why you put a plan in place a ways ahead of time, and got a plan for the bye week from before camp started and before the season got rolling. That way you don't get too emotional, and no matter what the situation is and where you're headed with your season, you know when it's a little bit calmer to put a plan together. Plans can change, but we're sticking with pretty much the plan that we had going in from the beginning of the season. That we were going to give our guys some time off, give our coaches an opportunity to get out on the road and recruit a bit, and give them a Saturday off as well, just to kind of recover and recruit. But nonetheless, we've got a list of things that we have to get done here in our practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and some on Friday, just to make sure that we'll continue to move forward. We'll continue to correct the things. It's a great time to self-evaluate your first 6 games. To know what you need to do to make a run in the last 6.
Thank you, Coach. We can go ahead with the next question, please.
Your next question comes from Mark Naducci with Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hey, Coach, with the week off and then Temple the following week, how closely will you guys watch them play on Saturday? And is that any kind of an advantage, you think, to be able to see a team like that? Because normally, obviously, you're playing.
Well, I mean, if they're playing Navy, I think so. It's it's kind of unique in the sense that I'm not sure how much you'll get out of the game as far as what they do, probably defensively. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity that not that we wouldn't get the game. You just get a little bit of a head start, a little bit of jump on things. You got to be careful too that you don't put, all of a sudden you got this extra time and now you start trying to do things you wouldn't normally do and try to be so sophisticated and outsmart a lot of people. So, I think bye weeks are unique, and that's why you kind of put a plan in place, way before you ever get to it, so that you can try to keep the emotions out of however your season's going, so you can make sure you can get done what it is that you need to get done in that bye time.
Thank you.
Sure.
Coach, I'll throw one more, if I may. You're obviously on the east side of the division, which has now 3 ranked teams, 3 undefeated teams, and then at the for nothing but Temple, waiting for you after your open week, sitting there at 2-0 in the conference. How does the rest of the season play out for you, and what your thoughts on having to run through maybe what could end up being a meat grinder on the east side?
Oh, it's when the season really begins. I mean, this is the heart of it. We kind of had as you looked at it beforehand, saying, hey, we got to play well early to try to build some momentum, because late in the season there's going to be a slew of really, really big, tough games. But you still got to take them one at a time. You still got to continue to get better at what it is that you do, and you can't start looking down the road no matter what the situation, no matter how no matter how successful you have it or are doing. It can turn and change in a heartbeat. So we got a long ways to go, and I think that hopefully we got the maturity to continue to do it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time this week, Coach. Enjoy the idle week, and look forward to hearing from you once again next Monday.